The former biggest reporter for ABC News is now declaring that the entire news division for Disney is biased against President Trump and his supporters. Well, how about that? As the Disney stock drops today, let's talk about it.
Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we continue to give you the news you need to know, often days ahead of the drive-bys, explaining Hollyweird in a way that not even they could possibly take on. All we need from you is a click of the like button. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this morning I put out a video covering the Disney stock situation. We'll move this out of the way there. Perfect. And I said that the stock was likely to go up, although I was giving no investment advice whatsoever. The stock has gone down, and I want to explain that. During the Disney earnings call today, they made a major mistake. Maybe, you could say it was transparency, I suppose. But they said off the cuff that the ESPN NFL deal is unlikely to be done before the 2027 NFL season. And because it's a non-binding agreement right now, that freaked out investors, I believe. So no financial advice, but the situation going in to that investor call changed abruptly and suddenly in a big way. Once you have a non-binding agreement that won't be sealed for 2 years, it caused a lot of people to wonder, well, then why are you announcing it? This is not a done deal at all. Ooh, that's not good. You know what else is not good, though, folks? Out of hot air, Terry Moran, as we sometimes say, humorously, yeah, ABC News was biased against Trump. And you might as well say is. This is by John Sexton. Now, Terry Moran is the guy who, he was the big kahuna at ABC News. Really, I mean, this is the biggest reporter they have. And in case you wonder if I'm telling the truth or not, Greta Van Susteren, former Fox News giant host, and then also went over to MSNBC. Greta says this about Terry Moran and what he's saying. Remember, this is why I got fired at MSNBC. I would not say what they wanted me to say on air since I thought it was intellectually dishonest. ABC alum Terry Moran admits news is biased against Trump. Okay, now we're going to get into this. Before we do, briefly, I need to set the table for you, and that is, I need to show you who this guy is so you can refresh-ify your memories and try to know exactly who this guy is. That's going to be the focus of our topic today. This is Terry Moran interviewing President Trump for ABC earlier this year. Now, this guy went on an unhinged, crazy rant, and ABC News, it was so bad that the biased ABC News Disney News division had to let him go. But here's what he was doing with President Trump earlier this year before they said, oh my gosh, not even you can be here with us.
He wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
I'll tell you the mistake that's being made here. Viewers can go find out for themselves, so they can put a little thing up on the screen if it's wrong. He doesn't need to stay on that. He just let it go. Just say, okay, Mr. President, let's talk about, and just move on. You don't have to, this is not worth the quibble. It's not worth it. Continuing on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the...
All right, we'll pause there. Now, am I going to tell you whether or not President Trump is right or wrong there? Folks, you all are the highest IQ internet audience. Go check it out. Go do your research, not the topic of this. And Terry Moran, I think could have handled that in a better way. Maybe Trump could have as well if you think so. I'll leave it up to you to decide. But here is the article that is making major waves. Terry Moran was fired from ABC News last month after he went on a rant about White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. You all remember this, and this is why even at Disney, they'll let you go for this one. Terry had said the thing about Stephen Miller is not that he is the brains behind Trumpism. Yes, he is one of the people who conceptualizes the impulses of the Trumpist movement and translates them into policy. But that's not what's interesting about Miller. It's not brains, it's bile. Miller is a man who is richly endowed with the capacity for hatred. He's a world-class hater, and he would go on to slam President Trump as well. saying some awful things about him. Maybe because that interview didn't go well. But Moran has since launched a Substack site, and last week he had some things to say about media bias at ABC, a.k.a. Disney. And here's what he says. Folks, from Terry Moran, again, the biggest reporter that was at ABC News, the guy they chose to send to interview the Orange Man, says, let's talk about bias. I worked at ABC News for almost 28 years, and I'm proud to say that. A lot of good people do a lot of really good work there, and they try hard to get the story right. There were many days over the years when I'd watch a colleague at work on camera or behind the scenes, and I'd think, that's how you do this. That is how you do a story that will really help people understand the truth of what's happening in our country and beyond. But were we biased? Yes, almost inadvertently, I'd say. ABC News has the same problem so many leading cultural institutions do in America, a lack of viewpoint diversity. When I, Terry Moran, joined ABC News in 1997, it was basically run by white dudes. He said men. He says, I have nothing against white men. I am one. The management structure lasted for a long time, way too long. But over the last decade or so, the company made an effort to hire and promote journalists from a much wider diversity of backgrounds and life experiences. That changed ABC News for the better. Changed our conversations, changed our perceptions of stories and events in the country and around the world. Changed our coverage. For me, the job got a lot more interesting and more fun. And folks, I don't care about this diversity as much as I'll tell you this one. Did they stop hiring people from blue states and start hiring a few from the red? No. So nothing in that regard changed. The ideological purity of the news division never changed. Only the colors of one's skin, not the political affiliations. Take note of that. He goes on to say, but there was one way ABC did not change and did not diversify. This is what I said. It's no secret. There are hardly any people who supported Donald Trump at ABC News or the other corporate legacy mainstream news networks. And this is bound to impact coverage, not so much out of malevolent bias, but more out of what is a kind of deafness. The old news divisions don't hear many of the voices of the country because those voices aren't in the newsroom. Well, whose fault is that, Terry? Terry, you were in leadership. It's your fault. It's Disney's fault. It's a conscious decision. You all don't hire out of Oklahoma. You hire out of Boston and Martha's Vineyard. You hire out of San Bernardino. You hire out of Berkeley. You don't hire out of Nashville. You don't hire out of Jacksonville. You don't hire out of the vast swath of America. That's a conscious decision. You all chose. So don't sit there and be passive, Terry, and say, well, there's one way it didn't change, and we're sorry for it, but we didn't mean any ill intent. You chose that. That's your choice. He says, yes, news teams go out with a microphone and camera and accost people at Trump rallies, but to me that often comes off as weirdly anthropological and inaccurate, kind of like trying to understand nature by visiting a zoo. You don't really see a tiger at the zoo, just a version of the tiger. And it's in that Terry really gives away how he feels about Trump supporters. Remember, he's one of the biggest ABC reporters out there. You see, he sees you as animals in a zoo. It's a terrible, terrible metaphor, right? Folks, if you are whatever your political affiliation, you're not an animal to be studied, and you don't learn about the chimpanzees by becoming a chimpanzee. You recognize that these are people. Now, I'm sure it's just a clumsy metaphor, but what a bad one. He says, now this might sound strange coming from me. The manner of my accelerated departure from ABC News has earned me a reputation in many quarters as a raging anti-Trump firebrand. And he is. So be it. I don't take back or regret a syllable of the post I wrote about Stephen Miller and Donald Trump that got me fired from ABC. Which means that's what you believed. It's what you still believe. It means you were not qualified for the job. And if you were not qualified for the job, Terry Moran, you wouldn't be writing this and people wouldn't be reading this because you wouldn't have the cachet or the sway because you would not have had this job that gives you the pedigree. You didn't deserve it because you couldn't stay above it. You got straight into it. You're supposed to be a reporter. You're supposed to be a journalist. Now, you can be, listen, I'm an opinion guy. I'm a commentator. I'm a scooper when it comes to entertainment. I get to talk about that kind of stuff because I'm not beholden to the same thing that you are. And that is, I'm not per se a journalist. I'm not a reporter talking about politics who therefore needs to be above it. It's a hard job. Not many people want to do that. But the fact that you're standing by it means you didn't deserve to be where you were, and neither do so many in ABC. It says, but inside the newsroom, I had a reputation of trying to get colleagues to see the other side, which Folks, what does that mean? It means that this nut job who posted nut job stuff online so bad that even ABC and Disney had to fire him, he was the most sane in there, according to him. Let that sink in. He said to walk a mile in the shoes of MAGA, to acknowledge the democratic forces that have made Donald Trump the dominant political figure of our time. So yes, from my perspective, the old news networks are biased. And Terry's the guy who is bringing sensibility, which really says something about ABC. All right, I'm going to finish up, and I think this is this Sexton? Yeah, John Sexton's the writer here. I'll read exactly what he says about it. In Terry Moran's mind, he was fair to the right. And here's the scary part. He may be telling the truth. Terry, who was fired for openly hating the people in the White House, may actually be more fair than many of the people still at ABC. There you go. So, Terry Moran, he's gone. And he's telling the dirty secrets of ABC and Disney. Not a good day for that to be coming out, but it is what it is. Disney down 3.8% at the time of this recording. We'll refresh on Friday, see. Maybe it'll get better. You ready? Let's refresh and see. 5 days what we had. We don't want the 1 day. 5 days. Oh, yeah, it is better. Down 3.2, basically. Good job, Disney. Still down, and, Terry Moran is not helping. But, folks, that's where we'll leave it today. They're telling you that it's biased, and even the wackadoodles are saying, I did my best. You wouldn't believe who's still there. Folks, like, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, and drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on the new media, that's where you are right now, and our efforts to call balls and strikes in a more fair way. Even if I'm not technically a journalist, I'm trying to do better than Terry. Pro Show is tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. We would love to have you. Your continued support of Lauren and Apollo is so appreciated. It's the new late night show that comes here on the channel, Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern. But tonight, Wednesday, we'll see you at 10 p.m. here on the Pro Show. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
You better hang on to your feathers, little bird. They need to put you in the show.
What? Jose, what are you listening to? You don't even have ears.
Vacation Radio 24/7. Original music on YouTube. Vacation Radio. WDW Pro's music channel.
I have no idea what you're saying. But if you want to be listening to music, you should head over to Vacation Radio 24/7 on YouTube. One of the 100 other channels WDW Pro's been working on. Oh! And I have a song for you, Jose. Jose Cowabunga. He is Jose Cowabunga. He's Jose. That one seems a little bit foreign to you.